Next we have Olison from HandyBook.
I'm O'Shane Hanner. This thing makes you sound like a robot. I'm O'Shane Hanner. I'm one of the co-founders of HandyBook, and we solve a very simple problem. Right now, if you want to book household services, it's really a pain. So if you want to find a cleaner or a handyman or electrician or a plumber, you've got to go to services that don't really allow you to book. They just allow you to search, request for proposals. But what they don't do is they don't allow you to pay, they don't allow you to schedule, and they don't allow you to actually confirm a transaction in a single visit to a website. And that's what we do. So using HandyBook, you can go online. We pre-approved, pre-screened, and search for really great service providers. And while you're on the site, we can instantly confirm their availability and allow you to complete the transaction in a single visit. So I'm going to walk through exactly. Do you want to walk through it?
Sure.
This is my co-founder, Ramon. So he's going to walk through exactly kind of how it works.
So yeah. So essentially, when we started this, what we were trying to do is, if you need a cleaner or a plumber or a handyman, if you think about it, there are only 3 pieces of information you actually need to give someone before you can schedule a transaction. One is zip code. Let's say I'm 02163. This is so that I know where the person lives. Then I pick a service. Right now we have cleaning, handyman, and general labor. So supposing I do home cleaning, find a provider. The only other piece of information I really need is I need to know when I want this service performed. So supposing I go with Friday at 4 p.m. I can select my rooms. Let's say I have a 3-bedroom. What that's do is going to estimate amount of time. Ask me for an email. And then if I click book now, and what's happening now in the background once I've clicked book now is we have the availability of the provider. So unlike a lot of sites that take you that far, but then essentially will say, okay, thank you, we'll notify you when someone's available, or we'll display a list of providers, and then you pick up the phone and you try and you figure out when they're available. What we're doing right now in real time is shooting out text messages to providers around your area. And so it's about 10 cleaners, let's say, who live right next to you. And then when they've been trained, they've been background checked, screened, etc. So they're great providers, and they instantly reply if they're available at that time. And the message they get, for instance, is, job on Thursday at 6 p.m. paying X dollars in Cambridge. If you want to reply, saying yes. So these people reply.
So yeah, just to show you the message, it's a $45 home cleaning job, and it gives you the time, the date, and the short code to write back with. So this first provider here is actually me. This is like me being a fake provider. The second one's a real provider that's written back in real time. What we've noticed is over about 1,500 test jobs, we've managed to get it so that in about 95% of those cases, somebody writes back in hours and 5 minutes. In a lot of the cases that you do during working hours, somebody writes back in the 90 seconds that this bar takes. So if you're booking for more than 16 hours away, we're extremely confident we're going to get a service provider. So even if nobody writes back, what we'll do is we'll automatically accept the job, assuming it's 16 hours away. And once the provider confirms, we'll shoot you a message, an email with the provider's details.
So like I said, just to give you an idea, in Boston, we've got it down to, if you book more than a day and a half out, the average response for a first provider to reply back saying he can do the job or she can do the job is under around 45 to 46 seconds. So what this is really trying to do is flip the model of you having to adjust your schedule to meet, a cleaner or a handyman or a plumber schedule to you setting the terms of when you want something done. And the reason we've chosen this text message system is because if you think about it, I think there's lots of great technology out there, but at the end of the day, these service providers, these cleaners and plumbers, they don't necessarily have smartphones. They're using regular cell phones. So the easiest way to reach them is through regular text messages. And we've actually found that works pretty well so far.
So just to finish out what happens here, you'll make a payment on the site. We'll take payment, we process with Stripe. The day before the job, we'll remind the provider by text message again that they've got the job. 2 hours before, we'll remind them again. 15 minutes into the job, we'll send you the customer a message and say, hey, how's this job going? Is it going okay? If not, please call us immediately on a customer service number. Once the job is done, we'll ask you to rate them and we'll bonus the provider based on the rating you give. And over about 150 jobs, the ratings we've got, about 95% of them have been 4 or 5. So we're pretty happy with the service.
So the ratings work sort of like Uber, if you've ever used Uber, where as soon as the transaction's completed, you get a message saying rate the provider on 1 to 5, maybe like that. So we're able to collect data on each and every provider.
Happy to take questions.
So how do the cancellations happen?
You can cancel 24 hours out, no problem. Within 24 hours, we ask you to reschedule rather than cancel.
Is it a complete refund?
If it's 24 hours out, it's a complete refund, no questions. And if you're not happy, if the provider's late, it's also a complete refund.
Okay, and just one more question then. When the provider replies the text back, what happens? Does the system accept that message and then depending on the text?
So if you complete this transaction, we would have gotten another message and you picked that fake provider. We would have gotten another message here saying, here's the customer's exact phone number, street address, full name. Please give them a call to find out if they have any special requests.
So initially you got just the area so that they could decide whether they wanted to take the job or not. You would have got Cambridge. If he had been the provider I chose, you would have got a message back saying the customer's exact address is this, phone number is this. And the other providers would have got a message back saying, sorry, you didn't get the job, or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you guys monetize the platform by taking a cut of the
Yeah,
service. So what would be, why, as a service provider, why would I not, upon first business dealing with the consumer, not say, just call me directly next time, I'll give you a better rate?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got to work really hard on that. This is like any marketplace where you need to work really hard and keeping the recurring on the platform. And if you've ever been in an Uber where the driver has turned around to you and said, oh, here's my card, call me next time, I've never called that. So I think you've got to work on making it really frictionless. The reason I don't call them is because, one, I don't have to pay cash because credit cards are way easier. The second one I don't is because his availability is only one guy. And I need to adjust my availability to match his. But this is a problem, yeah. So.
Are you guys just focusing in Boston, or how are you screening candidates local?
So we're in 3 verticals in Boston: cleaning, handyman, and general labor, so like moving help. And we're in 1 vertical, so we're in cleaning in Manhattan as well. And we're looking at other verticals and other geographies.
What's the difference between you and Angie's List?
So on Angie's List, you can't actually book the transaction on Angie's List. You can just find a list of service providers, and that's the old school. You call up and you find out when they're available, how much they charge, etc., etc.
So would it be practical for you to become the back-end operation and blank label for Angie's List? And
So I think Angie's List is a really interesting model built on customer subscription. It's not really a direction we want to go.
And I mean, to be honest, at least where we want to start is Angie's List is great if you want, extension in your house or it's a $10,000 job. If you just want a cleaning for 3 hours tomorrow, we think it's pretty stupid for you to call 50 people, find out how much they charge, when they're available, etc.
Green shirt?
Are you guys finding the service providers, I guess, are you just crawling, or is it individual service providers, or is it like an agency?
A whole multitude of different ways. So we haven't landed the very best way of doing it. We're doing everything from generating inbound to generating referral to outbound to online marketing. Whole range. We don't know the right answer. Some of them work really well, some of them don't work so well. Yeah.
So I'm to give you a little more specifics on that. Some of them are people who are applying directly, through classified ad space. Some of them are, people who see. We send out emails every day to all the service providers in Boston saying these are the jobs available. If you were on our platform, you could have got these jobs, so then they get inbound from those people.
Yeah.
We picked your handyman vertical. Do you anticipate any means for me to get an independent review of the provider that you offer?
Yeah,
Like Yelp, for example?
absolutely. So what we've done at the moment is we've really black boxed the review process. We've only shown you 1 review. As we build more depth and relationships with these people, we're going to show that, but not just yet. It's something we're doing.
So we're getting all these 5s and 4s and 3s back from customer. We want to let that get to at least 10 or 15 on each person before, so that actually means something.
So we're looking for comment, like lots of comment on each person, rather than just stars.
So I really like the idea, and the product is very scalable.
I feel there's a blood coming.
Yeah. So what's the traction in terms of numbers you have, like service providers, your customers, and what's your funding status?
So we took a little bit of money from Highland Capital to get started. We've done over 150 jobs here in Boston and Manhattan over the last 4 to 6 weeks, so we're pretty happy with the traction.
So looking for angel or VC? Thanks,
Oh, give it up.
Right answer is yes.
All right.
All right, thank you,
Thanks
HandyBook.
so much. People want.
Anyone who needs cleaning or moving
Yeah.
or handy